We might have some agents here who have been using Zenlist for a long time. We might have some agents who are new and just looking to dive in and start learning a bit more. So we're going to cover Zenlist in its entirety today. As Kevin mentioned, if you have a question, have something to share, pop it in the Q&A as we get started, and then we'll dive in. So kind of how I'm going to set this up today is first, I'm going to go over quickly what the benefits of Zenlist are. I have a quick 3-minute video for us all to watch that's going to cover that. And then we're going to dive right into how you get your clients on here, what you can do to collaborate with them, and then all of those extra search features that you have available to you. So sit back, relax. I'm going to pull my screen up right now, and we're going to start with getting you that video. So here we go. Perfect. So this is what Zenlist is.
Introducing Zenlist to your clients is the perfect solution if you're worried about missing out on technology, sacrificing your current workflow, or even compromising on your client's experience. Zenlist is a cross-compatible, mobile-first, client-facing, and lightning-fast application that's going to allow you and your clients to stay connected and collaborative every step of the home buying process. You'll stay organized by managing your clients in multiple listing feeds. A listing feed is a place where they can collaborate together. They'll collect listings based on what their search parameters are and interact with them based on what they like or what they dislike. Listing feeds can have as many people in them as you need. So you can have as many co-buyers or co-agents in a listing feed and keep everyone who needs to stay connected, connected. Notifications and activity alerts, behavioral insights allow you to stay connected and on top of what your clients are actually doing and looking at. And you and your clients will both have access to create advanced level MLS quality searches, which include private listings. Zenlist tour functionality allows you to create, organize, and optimize your showings and your tours. Utilize the agent-only information like showing instructions and integrations with Showing Time and other platforms to simplify the process and keep all of your information in one place. Share that tour directly with your clients, and both of you can pull it up from your phone, CarPlay it to your vehicle, and hit the road to go see those tours. Zenlist in-app chat functionality allows you to not only chat with your clients, but also other agents and even groups of agents that are also utilizing Zenlist. You can share listings directly, create threads, use emojis to react, and keep all of your communication threads in one place. Listing insights and reverse prospecting is built into your account directly, and seller reports can be shared with your clients directly from Zenlist. And you can even create a custom public profile for lead generation and prospecting to your future clients in a way that's built specifically for real estate agents. With Zenlist, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can provide your clients with the modern technology they've come to expect, but a technology that easily integrates into your current workflows without the fear of missing out and without sacrificing yourself or your client's experience. You can learn more at zenlist.com or follow us on socials to stay connected, and we'll see you there.
Awesome. That is the quick overview of Zenlist. So really, this is your space, your collaborative search portal that you can provide to your clients that is going to let you stay more connected with them. In addition to everything we just went through, and I will show you that today, some other things you need to know. When you are searching with your client on Zenlist, they will never see any other agent information. When you invite your client to Zenlist, that's how they get access. This is an exclusive tool, so it's not available to everyone in the public. And when you invite your clients, they only ever see your agent information. And for all they know, when they are in Zenlist with you, you're the only agent that exists. So let's take a look. I'm showing you on my computer today, but as we saw in that video, this is a fully cross-compatible mobile application too. So if you haven't downloaded the Zenlist app yet, I highly encourage you to do that. Everything that I will show you today, you can do on your phone. So you can really do this from anywhere that you are. So first things first, how do you get your clients on Zenlist? There are a couple of ways that you can do this. And the first way I am going to show you is what I like to call the direct invitation route. You've got your client's first name, last name, email address, and you're ready to add them to your Zenlist account. So to directly invite your client to Zenlist, the first way you're going to be able to do that is just coming up to the top of your screen here and hitting that invite client button. Once you select that, you're able to input your client's first name, last name, and then their email address. And you can go in then and add them to your Zenlist account. So we can enter all that info. If we have that phone number, we can add it as well. It's not required to have that phone number, but once you enter it, they will get a couple of text messages that remind them to create their Zenlist account with you. And once you hit invite, that invitation is sent off to your client so that they can start creating their account and start creating any of their own searches in Zenlist. Now, if I just have that one client to invite, once I send that invite and hit that button, I can click done and be on my merry way. Or if this client has a couple of co-buyers that I want to add and invite at the same time, I can do that right now too. So from this pop-up box right here, I can click invite new and then add another client to this feed. And that way they'll be co-buyers together and they can see all of the saved searches that either of them have created, the saved listings, the tours, and we can all collaborate in one common spot. Now there's no limit to the number of co-buyers you can have on any given feed or account. So if you have an entire family that wants to all search together on Zenlist, you can invite all 10 of those family members to Zenlist and allow them to collaborate together. That's the first way you can directly invite your clients to Zenlist. The second way, and what I recommend as a best practice, if you know the search criteria for those clients you're going to send this direct invite to, create their search first and then invite them from that search. So when we look over here, we're going to create that search first in this case. So we're going to click on our search tab. And then we're just going to start inputting that search criteria here. Now, I'm just going to go through this example quickly to show you how we invite that client. And then I'm going to come back to the search tab in a little bit and we can go over all of the specifics, all of the really awesome things that you can do with this Zenlist search. So just for the purpose of this example, I'm going to add my boundary area here. And we'll say my client is looking in Oscar Mayer Elementary School. I'm going to come in, add my boundary, select whatever search criteria that they're looking for. And then once I'm all set, I just click Save Search right at the top. And then I'm going to click New Client to invite my clients to Zenlist here. So we'll invite Sam. Probably spelling his last name wrong, but that's okay. And we invite. Once we've invited the client, we just hit next. And now we're naming the search that we're creating for Sam here. So we're going to call this Oscar Mayer Elementary School. And then we're going to hit save. And that has just now accomplished two things for us. We've not only invited Sam, but we've saved a search to his account. And now when Sam logs into Zenlist for the first time, he's going to have all of these listings right here to look through so he can really start engaging in the platform. Whenever you invite a client, they always live in your invited tab right here. And so we can see here's Sam, and then here are the two clients I created earlier. And so the reason why I recommend creating a search and then inviting a client is because when Sam, again, logs in, he's going to see this screen right here. When Taylor and Anthony log in, they're going to have a blank screen to look at. Yes, they can come in and they can create their own searches. So if you've got clients who are super keen and will do that right away, go ahead and do that. But ideally, to engage your client in the best way possible, have some of those listings there for them to look at when they create their account. And then there's some really great questions about searching. So I'm going to hold on to those just for 2 seconds while I show you the other way that we can invite clients, and then we'll come back to those questions. So hang tight, everyone. So those are the 2 ways to directly invite your client to Zenlist. There's also an indirect way to invite your client to Zenlist. And in that indirect way, you're able to invite clients that maybe are going to be leads for you, and you're going to be able to capture leads. So on Zenlist, you get what we call your Zenlink public profile. And so Zenlist, again, is an invitation-only platform. So anyone just coming to Zenlist.com, if they're not connected with an agent, they don't get access to that search functionality. So your Zen link, which is found right here in your public profile section, is a way for you to share that you have this really awesome tool that not all agents use. And that tool is going to let your clients see more homes before anyone else. That link is right here, and you can share this out into the world. Put it in an email drip campaign and prospect to prospective clients and say, hey, I'm great. You can look at more homes, work with me. This page is fully customizable. So you can add, let's say, your listing map, and anyone visiting this page can view any of your active or sold homes. They can view your 24-month stats. They can look at all of your reviews. In particular, I'm going to show you guys an example of what this looks like for another @properties agent. So what you can really do is customize this page so it will look however you want it to. So here is an @properties agent who is actively using his Zenlink page. And then when anyone visits this agent's page, they can click to subscribe to this agent's Zenlist account. And when that happens, he'll get a request from that client, and then he can approve that. But on his page, he's included links to his social media profile. He's got his market report. He has all of his resources linked here. He's even got a listing video example. Here are his 24-month stats, his Google, his Zillow reviews, and here's that interactive listing map that anyone can click on to view anything that he's done. So when you send this public link, there's a question: when sending our public link to a potential client, will I need to provide additional access? That link is public, so anyone viewing your Zen link can view any of the information you've added to this page. So that can be shared with anyone, and then anyone not on your Zenlist account can click on this button to subscribe to Zenlist and request access from you. Once they do that, they're going to come into your Zenlist account in this request section right here, and then you get to review that lead, and then you can accept them. You could also deny them if you did not want to give them access to Zenlist, but you review it, you accept it, and then they're captured in your Zenlist search portal. Okay, perfect. So those are the different ways your clients are able to get on Zenlist. You've got that direct invitation, and then you've got that lead generation marketing tool as well. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about searching now. So when I'm creating a search, again, I'm just clicking right on that search tab, and then I can come in and I can start adding whatever boundary areas it is that I want to include in my search. So I can click right into this boundary search bar, and I can start typing in a specific city, a neighborhood, an address, a school district, or even an individual elementary school, middle school, high school. county, zip code. We've got it all right in here for you to use. So in particular, again, I could come in here and I could type Oscar Elementary School. And then I could come in and I could just keep on going down my list. I want to see search results in Oscar Mayer Elementary School, Bell Elementary School. I could, type in as many different schools or neighborhoods as I want. There's no limit to the number of boundaries you can apply to any of your searches. So I once had an agent I was working with. They just happened to be working with in downtown Chicago, and we created a search that had 10 different elementary schools in it because that's what their specific client was looking for. So to answer that question from Philip, can you overlay 2 schools to provide results of homes that would be in both school districts? So you can add as many school boundaries as you want. And if you did have, let's say, an overlapping area, as an example, I'm going to come in here and use a custom draw tool and just overlap this school right here. If I have an overlapping area, I'm getting results of everything that is included, even if it's in that overlap as well. Okay. So going back to our different boundaries here, we just saw that I added in a custom boundary to this specific search. So again, all of our custom draw tools are right up here. So even if you've got, the elementary schools that I pulled in here, but there's also some custom areas you want to add to this search, you can add those custom areas while also keeping these 2 pre-populated boundary areas in your search. So if I click on my square, it's going to allow me to see this square shape right here. I just drag and drop that into my search. Same with this circle. It's easily going to let me put a circle right on my map. And then I've got my last one here, which is a free draw tool, so I can create whatever shape that I want. So I'm coming in here and I'm clicking and I'm creating whatever area it is that I want. So a lot of ways to customize this search so that I can really create one powerful search just for me and my client. And I see that there's a question that says, can you put the school district in rather than the school name? You absolutely can do that. In that case, you'll just type in what the name of the school district is. And that would allow you to search that full district rather than just that individual elementary school, middle school, or high school in Zenlist. And you can also put that number in too. So if it was like 89, let's say, as we're talking about school districts, I've typed in 89, here are all those different school districts that pop up. Okay. Keep it on, right on down the list. Again, when I need to review anything that's on my search, I can click right in here. And I just want to talk about these custom boundaries for a second. Maybe custom boundary 3, I find myself drawing all of the time. And so it takes time for me to draw that area every single time I need to create a search. On Zenlist, what you're able to do with any custom boundary is save it to your account so that you don't ever have to redraw that area again if you don't want to. So if I select custom boundary 3, once I have that selected, I'll see this box right here where I can come in and I can name this shape, and we'll call it, just for the purpose of this training, at properties test. And once I save it, that saves that boundary to my account. So if I needed to reset my search or start all over, use it in a future search, I can locate it in my search bar right here. And here are all of my saved boundaries. So I can come in here and click right on that and use it again in any of my future searches. Okay. A couple other kind of tips and tricks you have with the search on Zenlist. I'm going to draw our attention down to the bottom right and look at this layers tool real quick. If I click layers right here, I have all these different ways that I can look at my map. In particular, if I click transit lines, this is going to put all of the transit lines in Chicago on my map. So I can then use that custom draw tool to create custom boundaries around any particular transit line. Maybe I have clients that are commuters, they need to live right along, let's say, this green line right here. I can pop that into my map, create my custom boundary, save it, and then I can use that for any of my future clients that also need to live along that particular transit line. Okay. Perfect. Going right on down the list. Again, this is an MLS level of search. So as I zoom in, we're going to see that when even in my boundary area right here, we're looking for public listings. Any listing that has an open house is getting tagged right there. And then we're also pulling in private listings at the exact same time. So when I'm searching on Zenlist, again, I'm creating one really powerful search so that I can look for all of these things at the same time. So I can come down and I can, again, add my price filter right here. Keep on coming right on down the list. I can select my property type, and there are all those options that we find in the MLS. I can even select all of these different statuses right here. And what I always like to draw attention to is the ability to use these off-market statuses to create a closed listing search, let's say. Maybe I have a client who's looking to buy within the next few months, and they just want to know what's going on, in that area that they're looking, or just want to see what, is happening in their neighborhood. If I click closed, I can come down and then again, access all of these advanced filters, use my months back filter here, select the past month. And then I can share the results of this search by saving that search and sending it to my client. And that's going to let my client access the information on these homes that have closed in the past month, so they can get an idea about what's kind of happening on the market. Okay, we're going to flip it back to an active search. And then we'll keep coming down the list. Again, all of your advanced filters are right here, so you can really create whatever search it is. I know I've said it a few times, but you can create one really powerful search. Something I do like to point out is that we are looking for private listings and public listings at the same time here. So when you're searching on Zenlist, keywords, bathrooms, bedrooms, status, property type, price, everything keywords and up filters both those public and private listings. Taxes per year and down, those are your advanced filters in the MLS that don't apply to your private listings because we don't know that information yet. So just be aware as you're searching, and let's say you do use one of these advanced filters. My client really wants that master bathroom. If I toggle that filter on, that is only applying to my public listings. It has no effect on my private listings. We leave those private listings in there because it could have that master bathroom, but we just need more information on it. So I just like to bring that up as we are kind of exploring how this works. Okay. So I'm just going to go back through some of the questions on our search before we kind of move forward, because there's a lot of good questions I'm seeing in there. So I want to be sure to address these while we are talking about searching. So starting from the bottom to the top, the question is, show how to activate those transit lines again. That's amazing. So if we look to the bottom right of my screen, it's right in your layers tool right here. So if I click on layers, this will be set to off by default. I toggle that on. That is going to put those transit lines right on my map. Okay. And then another question, if the school name or district isn't in the MLS fields, they're blank, will it still pull in any properties that fall within the boundaries of the school district? Nancy, that is a really great question. So unlike the MLS, if an agent forgets to say, oh, my property is within, Oscar Mayer Elementary School, Zenlist is using precisely data, that geographic boundary. So if an agent leaves that field blank by accident, or it just happens, we know it does, even if it's blank, because we're using that geographic boundary area, those listings are still going to fall within that specific school district. So it's going to help make sure that you're not missing anything when you're using those school boundaries. Okay. Gina, and then again, we're using precisely data to pull on that school district info. So as things update and change, it'll update in Zenlist. And then because again, we are using that specific geographic data, even if an agent leaves that particular school field blank, that listing is still going to fall within that boundary in Zenlist. Okay. Can the buyer see the transit line? Your buyer has the same access to this search right here as you do. So any search you can create, your buyer can create as well, which is a huge benefit for your buyer because they're going to have access to these advanced filters. If they want, they have access to the private listings, and then they have access to that transit line filter too. And whenever your buyer is searching in Zenlist, we'll show you in a little bit here, but you have access to see the search that they created, and you can see all of the filters that they've applied. So it's going to give you that extra information as well. Okay. And so Bridget asked, can you search coordinates instead of creating a boundary map? So on Zenlist, what we have, if we go back to our location search right here and I click, I can search within an address range. So it's a little slightly different variation of that coordinate search. But if I click search for an address range, I can come in and I can just start typing in a specific address. Maybe it's 1600 South Indiana Avenue. And I can say here, I want to search from 1600 to 2000 South Indiana Avenue. If it's an apartment building, I can say, even want to search within these specific apartments and say what city that's in. Once I apply that, it's going to search for that specific range, and we'll see those on my map if there are any homes available. Okay. And then there's a question, does Zenlist apply to rentals too? This could be a game changer with access to those transit lines. That is a great question. In the past, we did not have rentals on Zenlist, but now we do. So when I'm searching in Zenlist and I have my for sale, I'm going to bring our attention up to the top just above where we've added all those boundary areas. There's for sale. I flip it to for rent and I'm searching for rental units now. And it's that search right here. So we can add our boundary areas and we can look, for that rent price and everything like that. Okay. So that's our search tab. I do want to point out a couple other things while I have everyone here. The default is to look at all of these results on the map, but you do have the ability to flip to a tile view. If you want to see those pictures right away, just come up to the top right, filter to tile, and it's going to show you all of the images of these homes right away. And we can click on any of these to get the more detailed information. Next to tile is also my list view. So I can come in and click list and I can view these all side by side. A newer feature that we've added is this ability in list view to customize what we're seeing right here. So once I flip to list, I can click customize, and then I can select what I want included in this view. So if it's maybe garage spaces that I want included, I just click on it and it's going to add this to my custom view and I save it. And then I can see any of that specific information I want side by side. Okay. A couple of other things. Of course, when we're in here, we can always click to save our search, but maybe I'm just searching generally and I just want to send a couple of listings that I found to any of my clients. So maybe it's this listing right here. Maybe it's actually a couple of them. I can select multiple listings by clicking on these boxes at the top of each listing tile. Once I have that selected, I have my movable shopping cart here. So I'm going to select a few. And once I have those selected and they're in this shopping cart, I'm going to click send. And then I can send this to any of my clients. So I could click to send this to Everett. I can include a message that says, let me know what you think. And I can click to send that to him. Whenever I click to send a listing to a client, it always goes to our Zenlist chat. So when I click chat right here, here's my conversation with Everett, and here are all those listings that I've just sent to him. And I'll be able to see when he reads these chats, we can react and we can consolidate all of our communication right into this one space right here. Now, maybe I want to send these listings to a few other of my clients too. Once I have those selected, I can hit send. And maybe I just want to send this to everyone. These are my listings and I want all of my clients to see them. I can multi-select all of my clients and I can click to send these separately directly to that chat. So I can send all of my clients just these 3 specific listings. Okay. So there's a question, do searches ever expire? Can a prospect or a client cancel a search? So your searches, once you save them for your client in Zenlist, they don't expire. So very well, you could have a search run for forever and ever. If you do not want that to happen, what you can go in is you can go in and delete that search, and that would stop those listing updates from happening. Your client could create their own search and then delete it as well. So there's a couple of different options that are available to you and your client there. But just know by default, you could set a search up for a client and have that go as long as you want. There's no expiration date. I was talking to an agent one time that said, hey, I have investors and they wanted to set their investor clients up on Zenlist because for that exact reason, the search continues to run. You don't have to go in there and restart it every 6 months or so. And then again, if your client creates a search, what have you, they could go in there, delete that, and that would cancel that search out too. But in either case, you or the client needs to be the one deleting that search. And then there is just a question, can you customize the list view for your clients or do they create their own customizations? Your clients are going to create their own customizations. And if they need help doing that, you can always have them reach out to us at Zenlist support. Okay. So there are a couple other questions about search. We're going to come back to those at the end because I want to show you guys tours and all of the features of the client feed. So hang tight and we'll make sure to come back to any additional search questions right at the end. So kind of going back and talking about some of the other collaboration tools that we have in Zenlist. When we're working with a client, we'll be in our client tab right here. The nice thing about this, it's always organized by who is the most recent in your Zenlist account. So Kim, Chloe, and Kris Kardashian were all here 2 hours ago and so on and so forth. So you're going to be able to log into Zenlist and get a quick pulse on who's really searching and who's maybe taking more of a back seat on that search. When we click into a client feed, we are seeing the exact same things as our client right here. So when any of my clients log into Zenlist and they're talking to me about this particular listing, we have that same view and we have that same information. When our clients are on Zenlist, they can request tours from us. They can save listings. They can leave a note on a listing. They can create any of their own searches. Whenever your clients are taking those behavioral actions, that's an instant alert that is sent to you. You can manage these alerts in this notification center as well. So I click notifications right here. This is going to be a log of everything my clients have been up to or taken an action on. I also have their client activity feed where I can get a real-time detailed view of everything that's happening here. So I'm going to click view client activity and I can see just 2 hours ago, Chris here made 3 tour requests. She looked at 6 listings. And the other Tuesday, Chloe was taking these actions. So the nice thing about this client activity feed is that if you've got multiple co-buyers on this feed, you're still able to see who's looking at what. You can also see their most viewed properties right over here. And so we can always click on these and see what it was that they were looking at. And we can always click to send, message them about this and see, you know, if they haven't requested a tour, maybe they want to go look at it, or maybe they need more information. Whenever my client is taking those specific actions, it's going to organize our feed so we can easily view what they've been up to. So my default is to look at all listings that they've been sent. If I look on this horizontal bar right here, this is my different folders on this feed. So if I click saved, I'm accessing all of my clients' saved listings and I can see the date that they've saved those on. Same thing with these tour requests. Those will be right here. The next folder over is open houses. This is looking through your client's saved searches and automatically pulling anything in that gets tagged with an upcoming open house. So if you're out and about with this client on the weekend, you can pull this up easily and see if there's any upcoming open houses in the area. Any listings that get sent to our chat will also appear here. So if our chat starts blowing up, we can come in, click on chat listings and see all the listings we've sent back and forth. And then right here is a with notes section. So when we click into a listing, both my client and I, we're going to have this common shared notes section. So my client can leave notes for me and any of their co-buyers, and we all have access to that. So this is a great way for us to log our notes while we're out and about looking at homes with a client, and a great way for our client to kind of let us know what they're thinking about this particular listing. The listing detail page, again, what I see is what my client is seeing, with the exception of the listing agent information. So you'll always be able to see who the listing agent is, their phone number, how to contact them. And then if that listing agent has set up their listing with showing time, there's that showing time link right here that you can click on, and that's going to take you straight to the showing time scheduling page. And so you can request a tour for this listing really easily. You'll also have all of this additional agent info right here that includes any of those private remarks, the listing information, any private showing instructions, and anything you need to kind of move forward with that listing or learn a little bit more. We've got a mortgage calculator right here, and recently added is this quick CMA functionality. This is available to you and the client, and it's going to look easily for any similar homes that are sold, pending, or active nearby. So you and your client can see kind of what's going on right around this home. Interior details, schools are all right here, and the property history is always at the bottom. So this is that listing detail page that you would typically print from the MLS, but now it's readily available right on your phone, on your laptop. A little trick too, if you've got a client who's like, hey, I want more information on that school, direct them to that listing detail page right here, and then have them scroll down, click on that information link right here. That is going to take that client directly to the Greater Schools website so they can look at the review of the home, get that school rating. Okay. Finally, last little trick. You have a more section right here. Let's say you have a client who you need to send a listing to, but they aren't on Zenlist yet. In the past, it's always been my client needs to be on Zenlist in order to search and view listings. And that is still true. Your clients are not going to be able to access the Zenlist search functionality or any of those collaboration features unless they're with you on Zenlist. Maybe they're just dragging their heels a little bit and you need to give them that extra push to connect with you. If you see a listing they like, you can click more and you can share a URL link to any client, whether or not they're in your Zenlist account or not. When you share that URL link, what happens is they are going to come, and if they're not on Zenlist, they're going to see an abbreviated version of the property detail, your name and brokerage up at the top right. And then they can click to connect with you and either finalize creating their account, or they can come into you as a lead and say, hey, I want access to this listing. And once that happens, just like with your Zen link, you get to approve them and then work with them in Zenlist. Okay, so that's our listing detail page. And then let's now talk about tours, because this is a really great functionality you have in Zenlist. So when my client is in Zenlist, they can make tour requests from me, and I can now set all of this up in Zenlist. And so when my client is making a tour request, there's a question that I'm seeing, which is, does that tour request come to me or the listing agent? Whenever your client makes a tour request, it always goes directly to you. Remember, your clients don't see any listing agent information. There's no way for them to contact that listing agent. So whenever your client takes an action, you're only ever going to be the only recipient of whatever that is. When we're engaging with these tour requests, then we can come into my client's tour request folder, and I can see, okay, they requested a tour for this listing in 2 to 3 days. I want to set this up for us now. So I'm going to click to select these listings. Once I have those selected, I'm going to add these to a tour. And this is a new tour, so I'm clicking new tour. We're just going to say this is for my clients, Everett and Hammond. I'm clicking on Everett and Hammond, and then I'm going to pick that tentative day that we're going to look at these listings on. So once I hit create, I can go to my tour folder, which is over to the right here, and I can organize and manage all of my upcoming tours. I can even view my past tours here. What I can do though, is I can come, and in this tour, I can click show route. It's going to tell me the drive times between points A, B, and C here. And if I drag and drop these to reorder them, it's going to update that automatically so I can kind of see what's happening. I could even click to optimize this tour, and it's going to put those in whatever order makes the most sense. What I can do though too is I can come in and I can say, okay, we're going to go look at this one at 12 p.m., this one at 1 p.m., and then this one at 2, let's say. I can tell my client I've requested all of these. And the nice thing about this is once I create this tour for my client, they can click into this tour on their end, and then they can see this entire page. Now, they won't be able to edit it. You're the only person who can make edits to the tour, but as you make changes or make any updates, it's automatically updated for your client. So it's going to let you stay on the same exact page while you're making adjustments or setting this up. In addition, you as the agent will have these two private sections right here. So when we're looking at notes in a tour that we've created, these are private notes that are only for you as that agent. So I can come in here as the agent and put, okay, the lockbox code is 12345. I can save that, so I can pull up Zenlist on my phone and I have that information available to me via the Zenlist app. You'll also have showing instructions right here, so I can easily click to see any of those private showing instructions, any of those private remarks. And then here are all my showing options. So I can tap to call this agent. I can click to generate an email to this specific agent. That's going to have a nice little email template for me that has the showing request for whatever address that is. And if I've inputted a time, it will have that automatically included for me. And then, of course, here's that showing time link again. So if that listing is set up with showing time, you can click right there, and that is going to bring you to the scheduling page of your showing time account so you can request a tour for the specific listing. A couple of other tools you have in your toolkit here are the ability to add this to your calendar. So I use a Google Calendar. I clicked add to calendar. This puts this right there. It has the showing tour for my clients, the time, the date, and all of my notes are right in here. So I can easily access those. I can also pull this up and I can click view in Google Maps. After I click view in Google Maps, it's just going to pull all of these addresses right into Google. And so I can just click go, and it's going to take me between points A, B, and C. So I can just cruise without having to futz with inputting all the different addresses after we stop at any individual showing tour. Okay. So that's our tours section. Again, you can manage it here, upcoming, past. You can do everything in this tour section on your phone. You can reorder it. You can access the showing time integration. So it's a really powerful tool that even if you don't have your computer, you can still set this up while you're out and about. Couple of last things before we kind of flip to some Q&A. This My Listings section is new. And if you have listings, they will be listed side by side right here. And you can get the high level overview of how many times those have been viewed in Zenlist, saved in Zenlist, or had a tour request on them. I'm not an active agent, so I don't have anything listed here, but I am going to show you all what this looks like by clicking right there. Perfect. So once you click into any listing in that My Listings section, it's going to give you a detailed report of the traffic that has happened or on your listing. So you can come in here and it's going to show you kind of the flow by date. And on the computer, you can get a seller report, and that's going to be a report that you can copy and paste and send to any of your sellers. And so it's going to let them know that over the past 7 days, your listing's been viewed this many times, saved, or had a tour request. And then you can reverse prospect to agents that have clients who are saving your listing or making a tour request. So you'll have that agent information right there, and you have the ability to contact this agent and get in touch with them to see if they have questions about this listing, anything like that. And then also you'll be able to look at those agent stats too, if you're curious at that time to see kind of what that agent does production wise. Okay. So I know we've covered a lot. I'm going to flip it back over to the Q&A because I see a lot of questions in there. But if anything else comes up after we're done with the Q&A, I always want to point out that we have live help support. So if you ever have a question and you're on your Zenlist account, click need help, get support right down here. That's going to pull up our resource library, but also our live chat with our support team. As you can see here, we typically reply in under 3 minutes, so it's super fast, and we're always happy to help if you ever need anything. Okay. So that's kind of the quick overview. Again, I'm going to flip it back to the Q&A so that we can go over all of this. Okay, so first question, we're going to start from the bottom up and kind of work our way back to the top. Can you show the Google Maps integration again? Yep, so in your tour, on either tour, you can click View in Google Maps. It's right up at the top right here. And once you click, that's going to open Google Maps. So if you're in your car, you open that, you've got your phone plugged in, it's going to pull up right on your screen in your car, what have you, and you can just cruise through this entire tour. So again, that is in that tour folder. Oops, there's Mike. And then it's right up at the top right here. Okay. And then there's a question about the tour. As you edit your notes from request to confirm, will it update on your calendar? That's a good question. So I have everything requested right here. Wait to add it to your calendar until it's confirmed. You can also do that at any time, but it doesn't automatically update your calendar event as you make changes. So my best practice is to wait until you've got everything confirmed. And once you do, then click that add to calendar. And then you can select whatever calendar you use, which there's another question about, will that work with your Outlook calendar? It absolutely will. You just select Outlook, and then that will add that to your Outlook calendar. And then there's a question, is Zenlist integrated with showing time? Yes. So just as an example, we'll click on this listing. Oh, Connie, I think I saw her on the call earlier. So that's a funny example. But so if this listing agent has put their listing in showing time, said, hey, I want you to request your tours via showing time, that showing time link is going to be right there. You click on it, and that's going to take you to that scheduling page of showing time. And it's going to allow you to set up that request that tour for that particular listing. So on any listing detail page, you'll always find it right here, or even in that additional agent info, it'll be right there. And then on that tours page, when you're setting up your showings, all of your showing instructions are always this last little box right here. You can click, and then the showing time link is going to be right there for you. Okay. So it looks like we have some questions about searching. So one of the questions is, can you set up a search for another agent if they're your client, but have Zenlist? So when you're setting up a search, if you can set up a search for any of your clients in Zenlist. So even if your client is an agent, you could still set up a search for them and send it to them as if they were your client. My, I guess, follow-up question for that is, what I would be helpful for me to know is, I guess, that relationship between you and that agent that you have set up as a client. Because if that agent has their own Zenlist account and you're sharing, like let's say me and you, Jennifer, are sharing Kim Kardashian and Chris and Chloe here, there are other ways for us to connect other than me having you as a client in my Zenlist account. So if you have a second and you could type out the specific use case that you're using that for, I think that would help me answer that question, and we'll circle back to you. Okay, there's another question. Does a search expire on the MLS? Again, nope, those searches don't expire. So any search you create in Zenlist will run for as long as you want it to. There's no button that says I want this to expire here, or there's no automatic expiration. If you ever do want a search to stop running, what we can do is we can come in here and we can hit edit searches. And let's say it's my red line search right here. I want this just to stop. I can click to edit it, and then I can come in here and I can delete this search. And that would stop that search from running. It would remove it from the account. Is there a way to search for attached garages only? Absolutely. So we're in our search and we'll come down to these advanced filters down here. And if we're looking for attached garages, we're coming down to garage type and we can select attached or detached. So if I click attached, that will include any of those in my search. And then can you search for main floor only condo/duplex? So let's look at that one. So we can come in here and we can select our attached type. So we could say condo, condo duplex, main floor. If you're able to do it in the MLS, we'll be able to do it here. I just need to think where that like main floor filter would be. So let's circle back to that one, but you definitely can. I just don't, it might take me a second to find it and I want to be sure that we can answer all of these questions. So I'm going to leave that one there. And then there's a question, so you don't need to check off under listing sources and private, it automatically filters. Yes, that is a common thing I hear from agents or that I see them do. They'll come into the search and then they'll click on listing sources and they'll select MLS and private. You don't need to do that. That is selected for you automatically. You only ever need to use listing sources here if you are looking for one or the other. But if you're looking for both, you don't even need to touch that filter. It's a default. So you can just bypass that and you'll be good to go. Floor level. Okay, circling back to our other questions. There is that floor level. There's a little trick here. I'm gonna look for floor. Interior features, first floor bedroom. Open floor plan. You know, I hate to say it. I'm gonna write down your names and send you guys with specific instructions on how to do that after I talk with the experts. So stay tuned. Okay. And then there's a question about tours to clarify. Will they receive a notification in Zenlist that a property showing has been confirmed, or would we receive that from showing time only? So when you are requesting a tour in showing time, you're going to get that confirmation from showing time. Anything you do in showing time, when you set up that tour, once you've got that in there, all of that will still come to you in the standard way via showing time. And once you have that, you go back to your Zenlist account and you can flip the status to confirmed, and that's how your client would be updated. Okay. There's a question about the public profile and how you connect your Zillow reviews. So in our public profile, if you want to connect those Zillow reviews, you would click right here. And then you'll search for your name on Zillow. And so, you know, whether that be my name, your name, you search it, it will appear here. You add that section, and that's going to then appear on your public profile right there. Okay, there's a question. What do we do after our clients have rented or bought a property? Do we delete the search so they don't receive notifications anymore? That's one thing you could do for sure. The other option, if you want to keep things a little bit more organized, is to come into those clients. Maybe it's Ruth who rented or bought, she's all set. If I click right here, I can come in, I can select to archive her feed. When I archive a feed, it is going to remove any existing searches, but it's also going to remove her from my active client tab. So I could say, you know, she purchased a property, attach that to her. And then she just moves to my archived client tab. So she can still access Zenlist. She doesn't know that she's archived, but it just allows me to keep my active client tab to anyone who's actively looking to rent or buy at this particular time. And then when, let's say, Ruth is ready to rent or buy again, I just come to my archived tab, and then I just click to unarchive her feed, and that's going to bring her back into my active client tab, who I'm currently actively working with. And then how do contingent listings appear in a client's search? So let's look at this. You can click on Kim and Chloe. Here is a great example. So this listing right here is contingent. It has that contingent pending sale label right on it. So as they are browsing through, it's going to appear to my client right away that it's contingent. If they're sent something that becomes contingent, it's going to update in their feed so they always know what exactly is happening right there. And then Christine, you said, is there a way to share your tours? My last client couldn't access. Whenever you create a tour, it should be automatically shared with your client. So if that is an issue you're finding, I'm going to suggest that you reach out to our support team and have them take a look at it too. That way we can kind of diagnose what's happening, because that should be shared automatically. And if your client just needs help locating those tours, we're always happy to help with that as well. Okay, and then just a couple more things. Phil, we might have covered this, but can you overlay two schools to provide results of homes that would be in both school districts? So let's say it's 89. And any multiple, so even if they're overlaid, I'm trying to think about what the other nearby school district is for here, but let's just say it's like this right here. Even if it's overlaid or just right next to each other, these are both school districts. Let's say it's going to show results of both of those school districts. So you'd be all set. And then for your last question, will you ever be linking the invite component to the contacts on a person's phone to streamline invites? That's a great question. I'd have to ask our product team if that's on the roadmap, but I'll definitely pass along the feedback. Okay, that's all of our questions though. So thanks, Kevin, and everyone who attended.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Taylor. I got a couple quick things real fast before we wrap for those of you that are still on. So hang on for 1 second. I'm going to share my screen really quickly because I just want to share with you about platform and integration, and then the roadmap. But I want to also get your input. So a couple of things. First, as I share my screen and I pop something into the chat, one of the things that I want to address really quickly is the current integration within the deal management system. So we have buyer folders, and it's the center tab when you go into the deal management system, the DMS. When you go to add or create a new buyer folder and you add a buyer, you'll see that you can actually automatically send that Zenlist invitation. So that's one way right now. You can send them an invite right when you're creating a buyer folder. And the advantage right now in creating a buyer folder is that you can write contracts there. So when you do come up and you create a buyer folder, you add a buyer down the road, when you find a property and want to submit an offer, it's integrated with the MLS, it's integrated with your CRM. And at the very beginning of the process, you can send them an invite right from platform. The second integration is going to be, that's coming soon, is going to be the activity feed that pulls in activity from Zenlist into their contact record. One of the things I really want your help with is answering this survey. I put the question into the chat, or the link into the chat. Now that you've been through this, and as you begin using or continue using Zenlist, I'd really love for your input on those integrations. I want you to think through, okay, what is the information that we could pull in that would be useful in the CRM? We're not going to pull in everything because it's going to be totally overwhelming and not useful. We want to make sure that the information we are pulling in is functional and doesn't clutter your CRM activity feed for your contacts. So that's a big part of where we're going in the roadmap. So if you could fill out that survey, that would be great. And then lastly, Taylor did a wonderful job of highlighting all of the differentiation within Zenlist and how you can create a better experience, not only for yourself, but for your clients. I want you to get in there. I said this at the beginning, please get in there and use Zenlist, set up a search. Even if you don't have a buyer client right now that you're going to do it for, get in there, use it, play around, set up a search for your spouse or partner or somebody so that you can use it now. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself, like I said at the beginning, coming back, having to take a webinar, go through all the functionality again. If you don't use it, you lose it. So get in there. And this is something that other agents are paying for. This is something that we provide for you because we believe in it. We know that it is better than the MLS. We know it's better than other tools out there. There are some holdout brokerages out there that don't want to feed into Zenlist, specifically their PLN listings. We know that exists. We've been working on this for multiple years, but those brokerages are very short-sighted, and it's a disservice to their people. It's a disservice to their clients, and they're making our jobs harder as agents working with buyers. So I don't want to disparage anyone, but it is sort of a short-sighted mindset that is not collaborative. And unfortunately, we can't do anything about it. That being said, you've seen all the functionality in Zenlist. So get in there, mess with it, use it with your clients. The feedback that we receive is overwhelmingly positive when it comes to not only the tool itself, but the support that Taylor and the team at Zenlist provide. So I really appreciate you being here. I know we're 10 minutes over. Thank you. This will be posted and sent out to anyone that registered. You'll find it in @Academy that you can access through platforms. So if you do want a refresher, skip to the part that you want to see again and make it a great day. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Bye, guys.